Nityananda, Nityananda, Gauranga. Nityananda, Nityananda, Gauranga. Be right back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Amy, thank you for coming. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Amen. Welcome. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. Gauranga, Gauranga, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, let's read a little from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the book called Chintanami Jewel of Raj, translated by Kushikatra Das, a really nice devotee. Yes. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Sri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gora Bhaktivinoda. Let me glorify Brajabhumi, the place where Sri Krishna enjoys transcendental pastimes, the place where Sri Krishna enjoys transcendental pastimes. Simply by drinking with their ears, simply by drinking with their ears the nectarian descriptions, simply by drinking with their ears the nectarian descriptions of Rajabhumi, the liberated souls abandon the bliss of impersonal Brahman and yearn to attain that land of Raj, and yearn to attain that land of Raj. With a pure heart, let me worship Rajabhumi, which is the form of the sweetness of meditation on Sri Krishna. With a pure heart, let me meditate on Rajabhumi, which is the form of the sweetness of meditation on Sri Krishna. Which is eternal, transcendental, and blissful, and peerless, in which, although it cannot be understood by ordinary people, is easily understood by its residents. With a pure heart, let me worship Rajabhumi, which is the form of the sweetness of meditation on Sri Krishna, which is eternal, transcendental, blissful, and peerless, which is eternal, transcendental, blissful, and peerless, and which, although it cannot be understood by ordinary people, is easily understood by its residents. A poet's poem becomes famous because of its quality of being poetic. I shall now boldly declare that this poem of mine is the most poetic and best of all poems, for it glorifies the transcendental land of Raj, because it glorifies the transcendental land of Raj. I yearn to be able to write. I yearn to be able to write as well as Chaitanya's Rupa Goswami. But I cannot write as well as he, and neither can I write as well as his followers, who wrote many wonderful, perfect books, which everyone should read and remember, Compared to their books, my little book can hardly be considered poetic. Millions of material universes and even millions of spiritual Vaikuntha planets are not very significant in comparison to Vrindavan. Millions of material universes and even millions of spiritual Vaikuntha planets are not very significant in comparison to Vrindavan, where Sri Krishna enjoyed lunch with his friends. Where Sri Krishna enjoyed lunch with his friends. Where Sri Krishna enjoyed lunch with his friends. On the Yamuna's sandy bank. On the Yamuna's sandy bank. On the Yamuna's sandy bank. And enjoyed many other transcendental pastimes. Sri Krishna's friends and associates who enjoy pastimes with him as equals reside in this perfectly spiritual abode of Vrindavan. Sri Krishna's friends and associates who enjoy pastimes with him as equals reside in this perfectly spiritual abode of Vrindavan. All those associates. All those associates, all these associates of the Lord have spiritual bodies. Although their forms and activities appear ordinary and material to conditioned souls, these associates of the Lord are enchanted by Lord Krishna's charming pastimes in Braj. These associates of the Lord are enchanted by Lord Krishna's charming pastimes in Braj. Although their forms and actions are filled with spiritual knowledge. Although their forms and actions are filled with spiritual knowledge. Although their forms and actions are filled with spiritual knowledge, the people of Raj know Krishna as their friend and relative, an ordinary person. This is not at all surprising. Although their forms and their actions are filled with spiritual knowledge, the people of Raj know Krishna as their friend and relative, an ordinary person. This is not at all surprising. Yeah, this is what I've always seen, from these pastimes. Their forms and their names, their forms and their actions, what they do, their activities, their forms, their names, their qualities are filled with spiritual knowledge. They're decoded by this bhakti. See, devotion decodes stuff. Mm. And without it, you cannot understand. It seems like, ordinary. Yeah. Yeah. See, knowledge, spiritual knowledge. This is the kind of knowledge you need to hear from a real associate who acts as a spiritual master in this world. You need to hear about the forms and the activities and the qualities of the Lord because they're filled with spiritual knowledge, but you have to hear it from those who have that pure heart, purified heart with bhakti, and then you can understand this knowledge. Yeah. Although they are the most exalted, by the influence of the potency of pure devotion to the Lord, they think themselves the most lowly and insignificant. Isn't that amazing? See, that's the quality of the real associates. This is the great secret, one of the great secrets of bhakti. The real associates, even though they're very exalted, it's naturally because they're a friend of Krishna, man. Actually, on friendship basis with God, in His form of Vrindavan. They consider themselves ordinary. See, that's why you can tell, a devotee can tell who's not really a resident because they don't have that mood. And they promote exaltedness. They promote you got to be perfect. You got to be, a great superstar Vaishnava or worshiper. You got to be, like a Rupa Goswami, and then you can get the mercy. How about you get the mercy, and then you can be whoever you are, whatever that is. I have with my own eyes seen how the people of Raj think themselves ordinary, even though they are great saints and worship them. And great saints worship them. Mm. That's what you see here. They're devotees here. They're like saints because they're there simply because of their attraction to Krishna. That makes you a saint. Can you imagine? But they don't. They don't. There's no false ego in there. No, they're just in their identity. They don't. Yeah, they're as attracted to Krishna. They they like tasting the glories of this relationship. Yeah. Yeah. Defeated by their humbleness, Sri Krishna eternally enjoys pastimes in their midst. In their presence, he manifests a limitless flood of the sweetness of the most confidential transcendental mellows. In their presence, he manifests. See, defeated by their humbleness, Sri Krishna eternally enjoys pastimes in their midst. Mm. Does this link shared regarding Hindus? I don't know. I can't look at that right now. Man. Look at it later. Uh, where are we here? Yeah. Oops. Defeated by their humbleness, Sri Krishna enjoys pastimes in their midst. In their presence, he manifests a limitless flood of the sweetness of the most confidential transcendental mellows. Yeah, so much to say about that. Who's this? I am in Playa del Carmen. Are you still there? Yeah, I'm here. What is this? Yamazu? Yeah. Yeah, if you want to meet up, we can do that. Yama Yazadu. Yeah. Okay, we'll stay in touch here. And, even though it appears to be material, the opulent sweet nectar shower of Lord Krishna's pastimes is worshipped by the great devotees. Even though it appears to be material, the opulent sweet nectar shower of Lord Krishna's pastimes is worshipped by the great devotees. My God, are these conclusions, man? These are crystal clear. Amazing. See, even this was written in the 1700s or something, a long time ago. Right? Yeah, and that's exactly what you can see the actual manifestation of these realizations in the book here in this sangha. For example, let's see here. Even though the pastimes appear material, see the opulent, sweet nectar shower of Lord Krishna's pastime. See, this is they people call us sahajas here. See, it appears material. Oh, those are just material feelings. Oh, he's probably thinking about his mother or father died or something. That's why he's crying or she's crying. It appears material. It appears because people in the world cry, right? People laugh in the world, not maybe that often. Some, especially nowadays, huh? See, so it appears material. Oh, what is this? You got material emotions. Even if you're a liberated soul, if you're not a devotee yet, see, that's still considered a non-devotee in preaching terms. In the whole broad picture, everybody is a devotee. Everybody is devoted to God. Can you believe that? How do you reconcile something like that? People are there. Everybody's a devotee of God, but yet we break it down and say, no, this person is a non-devotee. Okay? Non-devotee is you're devoted. See, you're devoted to the material manifestation of God. See, which is the kind of a low frequency. It's more dense. See, and there's also, when you become devoted to material bodies or material wealth, you develop a love for that, love for money, love for worldly things, love for worldly bodies, desire for those bodies. It goes so extreme. Like now, people have a desire to control those bodies, like Bill Gates type thing. He wants to control everybody. These technocrats want to manage and control the bodies of even people, that have a spirit inside, that are, actually ultimately meant to be free. But they don't like that. No, they want to control the bodies of others. Right? That's what the time we're living in is, very, very much extreme. Hmm. So people now in this time of extreme materialism, I mean, that is really extreme manifestation. Draconian dictatorship, where you want to control, track and trace and control every living being. Force them into slavery. They've been doing it subtly already, but now they want to openly manifest that slavery. So this is the Lord's Maya, his material manifestation. See, so that's why we have to break things down. These are non-devotees, even though they're devoted to the Lord's material manifestation. But that puts you in this what's called. See, this is this. I mean, this is transcendental knowledge, man. This is knowledge people need, man. They're meditating on the material energy and material potency, and it's very dense and dark. And it's not who we really are or who we're really to meditate on. This is like God's shadow. See, that's why the devotees is broken down. Well, we call devotees who are devoted to the spiritual manifestation of the Lord. See, and this kind of ecstatic love, loving feelings, because devotees are chanting these transcendental names, which are spiritual. They're not material names of some particular material person. They're spiritual names of spiritual personalities. Even the devotees' names are spiritual. Okay? And they invoke emotions, spiritual emotions in others, in those who get the mercy. Yeah. So the opulent, sweet nectar shower of Lord Krishna's pastime is worshipped by the great devotees. See, but there are very few great devotees in this world. People still haven't surpassed the false ego identification, so they become envious of such devotees or competitive. See, even in the mode of goodness, like the example of Daksha. Daksha was envious and competitive with Lord Shiva, even though he was a demigod in the mode of goodness, a very high Prajapati up there in heavens. But still, he didn't surpass the false ego. Very few people have, actually. You have to get this special mercy to do so. See, the Lord has to reveal his spiritual potency inside you, reveal his presence inside you, and then you can transcend that false ID and become naturally humble. Not the devotees here, so many are so exalted, but they consider themselves ordinary people, just like in Vrindavan. Great conclusions. I pray that by the mercy of this the inconceivable residence, of its inconceivable residence, I will attain the place that bears the auspicious names of Vrindavan, Gokul, Dham, and Gosta, and Braj. Yeah. See, this is a person that has developed intelligence. See, intelligence is, if you, this is another reason why the acharyas teach Vaidhi Bhakti, or devotional service and practice, to get people studying, get people getting maybe a little bit purified, get them on track, to believe in Krishna and this and that, and maybe read some of these books and see, basically, in an honest way, how far away they are from this, but how close they could be to this. See, if you try to get this state of consciousness on your own, by your own offensive chanting, see, without the devotional potency being transferred into your possession, okay, then, it's not going to happen in this life. Very rare. Very rare. But if you if you come to the point and realize, oh, let me pray for the mercy of these inconceivable residents. Well, we have some of these inconceivable residents here. Thank you for asking. Even nobody asks these things. These are important questions. I pray for the mercy. I remember when I was in ISKCON, I was every day during the program, towards the end, we would say, we pray to see for a pure devotee to manifest to us. We're praying like this after the temple program or something, somewhere in there. After we would announce how much money we've collected during pseudo Sankirtan with the paintings, sometimes with the books too, and the paintings. But pray for the inconceivable mercy of the residents. See? So we should break this down. What is this? I pray that the mercy of the inconceivable residents. What is that mercy? That mercy is Bhakti Lata Bij. That's attachment to the transcendental form of the Lord, not the material form. We all got that. That's easy, man. Oh, you just look at a beautiful man or woman. Whether you're, if you're a woman, you look at a beautiful man, woman, just, instant attraction, man. To what? To who that person is. Well, that person doesn't usually know who they are. They believe what they are, what they aren't. They believe they're either their material body or a little bit more their mind, that is them. That's their identity, is in the minds, the mind speculations, or their material emotions. See, they believe that's them. Yeah, I'm an emotional person. I am an emotional person. I am thinking about this. You see, it's all this, or you really bodily identify as doing selfies. Ooh, how beautiful I am. You think that's real beauty. Devotees don't think like that. They think transcendentally. See? Yeah. See, they are their body. They are. See, the real I in this world is Satchidananda. That's the real I, different forms of the I. The real I is Krishna, God. That's the real I. See, the I. See, and devotion awakened gives us the ability to perceive that great I. See, the eye of devotion. And that devotion itself is the Lord. It's his Lord in his form as Radha, personified as Radha. That's part of him. It's his other half. Okay? Transcendental knowledge too. The knowledge you're hearing here actually is pretty phenomenal. I mean, this stuff hasn't been clearly delineated. It's in the book, and we're just bringing it to life in this world. Okay? That's what devotees do. They bring the, you know how they in the New Age they talk about creating your reality. See, but usually that's a design of one's material imaginations. See, this is different. This is the spiritual reality already ascertained by these residents of of Vrindavan, the spiritual world. They convey this to us in the form of these spells. Just like it's coming to light. I noticed in the world, people are realizing that the language being used are used as spells to control people's behavior. I mean, that's the idea. Mainstream media putting out conceptions and ideas that invoke what? Fear, anxiety, and action. Also, action. You program. See, they got it to where people are being programmed by these spells. See, they spell words out in a certain way that creates a captivating situation. It captivates the mind and causes people to act. So they're acting under spells. So that's the shadow of the truth. Because also there's spells that are cast. These Vedic literatures are also a spell. They cause us to be captured by the Vrindavan, the Lord of Vrindavan. See, we're captured into that place and to act like a devotee. See, so there's spells also. But here, this is where real freedom is. Freedom is in Vrindavan. Freedom from what? Freedom from being controlled by Maya. See, Maya may control our bodies, but she cannot control the soul. She has no jurisdiction over that. See? That's where, this great saying of Jesus is amazing. He said, render, when they asked him about, paying coins and taxes to Caesar, and they wanted to trap him. And so Jesus says, render to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And render to God, give to God what belongs to God. And you know what belongs to God? Our soul. It's him. It's his light. It really doesn't belong to the world, but people are feeling they belong to the world. Okay? See, devotees, a real devotee that belongs to the Lord, they can more or less be in any situation. They could be poor, they could be rich, they could be middle class. Their real security is not in some material place. It's in Vrindavan. See, it's under the spell of Vrindavan. These words create that reality. Just like in the world, people's reality of limitation, putting masks on, fear, anxiety, is created by the spell of worldly people with material motivations. That's the illusory potency. That's God in that form, and it's a dark form. It's not very nice. It causes pain, sufferings, all that. That's why the Lord sends saviors. Saviors are his relatives, his associates. They're under the spell of the spiritual world. See, they chant these verses, they chant the names of God, which puts them under the spell of Vrindavan, under the spell of not temporary reality. See, these things that are said by worldly people, you notice a lot of talk going over everything. If you go into restaurants, always music, mundane type music, it gets you under the spell of the material energies and meditations. It causes you to believe erroneously that you're a material product. That God doesn't exist. You don't know. Okay? So this is why the idea is to hear the Vedic literature, from a devotee who is under the spell of the spiritual world. See, and they spell these words. All I'm doing, it's not like I'm making this up. This is all here, right here in the verses. And the revelations and realizations comes because of bhakti, devotion. Then it opens to understand these kinds of things, to understand the Lord's truths. One of those truths is Maya Tattva, the truth about illusion, truth about Maya, which I've just been talking about here. Practical, you can understand how it works. Okay? If you listen to a whole person. See, holiness. What is holiness? Is wholeness. Just like Krishna, he's not complete without Radha. See? He's not complete without his communion with Radharani. He doesn't feel complete. Well, we're kind of like Krishna also in a sense when we're alone. And when you start to wake up, then you realize, oh, I'm not complete without devotion. Without devotion, I cannot be happy. Without devotion, I cannot understand the spell of Vrindavan. I cannot understand how to spell Vrindavan, in such a way that people become captivated by Vrindavan. Any reactions out there? Anything you want to say? Oops. I pray that the mercy of its inconceivable residence, I will attain a place that bears the auspicious names of Vrindavan, Gokul. And so how do you get that mercy? You have to hear these spells. See, these words, these Vedic mantras spelled out by devotees who are awakened with this bhakti, with this love. See? That's how you get there. If you want to I just pray for the mercy. So many people are praying for the mercy in these ISKCONs and all that, and then the devotees come to them and they say, "Well, go away." See, they don't know what that mercy is. So you have to come and hear about these things. You hear from experienced devotees who will tell you what is the mercy. What the mercy of these inconceivable residents is simply attachment to Krishna like they have. And you can get that by being in their association. So if you've been praying for the mercy of the residents, then the Lord will send you a resident. That's why you see they're not praying for Krishna. See? This Vishwanath Chakravarti is praying for a resident. That person comes as a master, as a real resident. I see people, a lot of Vaishnavas too. Like there's one, coming. He says, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to take any instruction from anybody. I just want to come. I like that you chant. I just want to take that energy. Oh, I don't want to be a disciple. Okay? So, and a lot of this is just because of ignorance. You know what the ignorance is? It's because they've been cheated by Maya so much. Here it tells us we should have a bona fide spiritual master. We should have association with real devotees who are residents of Vrindavan, but you don't meet them. You see people that are imitating the position, like all of these groups here are saying they represent Vrindavan, but they don't. They don't have this deep attachment that residents of Vrindavan have. Okay? So they're misspelling Vrindavan. See, they can't cast the spell over you, the Vrindavan spell. So therefore, people stay mundane gurus, mundane teachers, mundane sannyasis, mundane followers, blind. So Jesus called it blind leaders and blind followers, the blind guides. You're blind until this eye of devotion is awakened, this natural attraction to God. He could be in various forms. Christ, attraction for Christ. We're in the Vaishnava line here. So it's Krishna and Lord Caitanya and his associates. You're blind until you feel this deep relationship with them. This deep surrender. Okay? And most people don't feel that. Therefore, the Lord sends you a bona fide representative. See, and even when you get this mercy, You don't say slam bam, thank you, ma'am, like a prostitute. Yeah, no, you could see, I could see who's got the real mercy here and who is an advanced Vaishnava. Look at the devotion of Lalita Ganga and Johan and others, Govinda, I mean, on and on. River, you could see that they have this natural appreciation for this. See, this is God in their heart, purified heart. They don't say, okay, well, thank you very much. I'm going to go now. I got what I wanted. See, that's the Mayavadi, the impersonalist problem. Okay? This is a challenge for a lot of people. A lot of Vaishnavas have this. A lot of come and went here because of that. So, want to help people now get over that hurdle. Yeah, because you just go out and you're out on the outside again. That's not, we're here to be teachers of, you got to be a teacher here. You have to be an example. You have to be an example of this mercy. Krishna is looking through the eyes of his real devotees, examining everything, just like you should be examining everything. Great verse. I like that verse. I pray that the mercy of the inconceivable resonance. See, it's inconceivable. I see this. I talk to people. I have a nice friend out there, and he's totally like, I can't see what you're doing. It's inconceivable. Doesn't seem like it's even important. Okay? Well, that's because people are not well woken up. They have to become purified and develop that desire, and then the Lord will draw the devotees to them, the real resonance. But they're very rare. Okay, let's hear some comments, man. How are you reacting to this? What do you feel, man? What are you thinking inside? How is this coming across? What is this awakening in you? Okay, so put it in the chat. Then we have something to discuss too. Vrindavan cannot be understood by conditioned souls, for although it may appear material, its villages, forests, and cow pastures are perfectly spiritual. Okay? So how does that show up practically? Okay? Well, in these verses. Okay? These verses are Vrindavan. They are descriptions of Vrindavan. They put devotees under the spell of Vrindavan. See, where they're feeling. You see, like people are under the spell in the world because they're listening to worldly leaders and worldly people with material motives trying to control them and manipulate them. They get feelings, right? Worldly feelings. It binds them to illusion, the illusion of the world, and fear, and they become controlled. See? Well, the opposite works here. See, when a person listens to devotees who are chanting and teaching these deep, inconceivable conceptions, actually, they also begin to invoke feelings, but of a different variety. That's why when you hear from those whose hearts are purified by this devotion, this bhakti, they lead you to the greater, more permanent and eternal experience of love of God. See, love of God, devotional mellows, the ability to manifest Vrindavan in these verses. See how the world works side by side. The truth is eternal. The truth is also temporary. So what side of the truth do you want? See, if you attain by following the right procedure, the right method, the right formula, you attain transcendental emotional attachment to the spiritual potency, the spiritual manifestation of God. Automatically you'll understand the material. Okay? And you'll be free of it. You'll be free of that controlling you. Okay? Whereas if you're just into the shadow that's called the darkness, you become weak. Your soul becomes covered. You become crippled in mind and in body, actually. The cripple-minded, they call it. So you're crippled, you become less intelligent automatically. See? That's why you need to hear from devotees who have real devotion for the transcendental Lord. Because when you listen to their words, it purifies your consciousness and raises the vibration, see, where you become more and more intelligent. And to the point where you are like that resident. You become more and more emotionally attached to Krishna like that devotee. See, you become as good as the devotee without thinking, "Oh, I don't need you anymore." You it's not that's not love. That's offense, a fence, a fence, literally a offense. Between the absolute eternal truth. Okay, Amy says. The spell cast in the world through words, misconceptions, and illusion. Exactly. But these books and words heard through Krishna's true devotees is the real transcendental spell. Yeah, the spell of truth. It puts you under the spell of eternal truth. See, which is Sat Chit Ananda. Your spiritual body is eternal. It's awakened. You become aware of it. You become aware of its relationship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is manifested in these words. This is Vrindavan. This puts these words, these names, puts us under the eternal spell of Vrindavan. It's so good you don't want to leave that place. I noticed even in physical Vrindavan, when I lived there, I lived in Vrindavan and I lived in Mayapur, I didn't ever want to leave. You just start to forget the material world. Yeah. They only left for preaching, or I had to renew the visa. You have to go out of the country, go back, go preach, stuff like that. But this is how we stay in Vrindavan. We stay under the spell of Vrindavan. It's a better than good thing. It's better than good news. It's transcendental thing. It's doing our thing, doing my thing is this. This is my thing is this. I like being under the spell of Vrindavan. It's where I found real freedom. Freedom from the believing in the material world modes and being controlled by people whose hearts are not purified yet. See, this is the problem. Even all the way up and through religion, I'm not controlled because I'm under this spell. The ecstatic worship of the Lord. I'm not under the spell of the Lord's Maya, even in religion. None of these gurus can control me. None of them. Narayan Raj can't control me. Was considered a very powerful person because there's a deeper power than that. I'm only feel myself, allow myself to be controlled, just like Krishna, by his real devotees. I will not trust my heart to anybody, and the Lord has given me the eyes to see who is really getting this, who has really got the real Krishna and the real devotional potency. That you can all learn here. This is all, very rare stuff. It's the song that exactly they call Song of God is something. If you're really hearing that song, you're going to be like Arjuna. Arjuna was hearing Krishna speaking all these beautiful conceptions of truth, eternal truth. And Arjuna says, "Go on speaking, man. My ears are like tongues. This is just like nectar to my ears, giving great bliss." Who taste transcendental mellows, you never want to hear from speculators again. You get spoiled. Okay, I'm losing some. Okay, let me transfer to here. Okay, I'm going to transfer this. How is the signal? Is it okay? Is it working okay now? Let me know if the signal is good. Seems to be working all right. It starts spinning, then we'll change. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Ah, perfect. Okay, great. All right, let's see here what we got here. Yeah, Vrindavan cannot be understood by conditioned souls. So, although it may appear to be material, its villages, forests, and cow pasture are perfectly spiritual. And practically, that shows up. If you're still under the conditioning, you cannot understand what's going on here because we're chanting mantras that manifest Vrindavan and Vrindavan relationships. And if so that's why you need it. If anybody wants to learn about the spiritual world, you have to go to where the devotees are authorized to promote it, and we are. So you can come and learn all about. You can become deconditioned from the material conditioning, the conditioning from those spells of misconceptions and speculations you heard, all the way up to religion, all the way up into these gurus. All the ones I've seen so far, they're not experienced devotees. They're not experienced in Vrindavan. That is not a light thing to be experiencing the Vrindavan consciousness. See, and proof is you're an ecstatic worshiper of the Lord. And that I don't think I've ever really seen it. People say, "Oh yeah, we're all hiding it," but I don't know. I think I don't. Yeah. Anyway, enough said about that. This Maya protects the Dham. You have to go in, just like you got to go in the door, like Jesus said. Go in the door. The door is a real resident, man. The real resident. Just by their association, your feelings change and become transcendental. Your conditioning is you let go of it. You drop it just naturally. Oh yeah, that concept. Oh, that wasn't right. Oh, how dumb I was to believe in that. It makes you dumb. These material concepts. Speculations of religion. That's why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita said, abandon all varieties of religion. Oh, okay. I'm going to save this for another time. This is really good. And I think I'll end it now because it's getting a little bit late here. I need to do some things. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. This is awesome. And probably just see you in the morning. Everybody get a good rest. Thanks, Karuna, for being in the behind the scenes there. Let's give him a little cameo appearance here. There he is. He's been working behind the scenes. Hey, there he is. Okay. See you tomorrow, guys, gals.